Hello everyone, today I want to tell you a shocking information that will change your point of view on the relationship between Joanne Rowling and her screen kids. We all know that in difficult times for Joan, the performer of the role of Harry Potter, Hermione and Ron attacked their movie mother Rowling among the first. Then many wondered why the star trio did such a rude thing. After all, they became stars with Rowling's help. Defenders of the Little Bastards said that 23 years ago young actors got their roles thanks to their own talent and without help of Joan. But this is a big lie. For example, the role of Harry Potter should have been given to another actor. However, thanks to Rowling's influence, Daniel Radcliffe got this role. Other future stars have a similar story. Now, 20 years later, we know the whole truth. It becomes even more interesting why the main stars of Harry Potter movie didn't support their creator. And they are not the only ones who want to defame Joanne Rowling and take away her legacy. So pour delicious tea, take biscuits, and let's start with Daniel Radcliffe. Thanks to Harry Potter, he got fame and money. His acting career began at a very young age. In 1999, when Daniel was only 10 years old, the BBC series David Copperfield was released, where Daniel played the main role. Interesting fact, many years later, Daniel admitted that actor's career was uninteresting and difficult for him. In general, he didn't want to be an actor. However, then he was approved for the role of Harry Potter, which became the main role of his whole life, and made this young Englishman a superstar. Oh shit, I'm sorry, a very rich superstar, because at the end of the saga, when he was about 20 years old, Redcliffe earned more than $100 million. Now he can act in any film, choose freak roles for himself and independent project, live for his own pleasure. And all this is thanks to Joanne Rowling, whom the actor decided to quickly betray at a difficult moment in her life. And yes, one more time, thanks to Joanne Rowling, but not because of his own talent. So before Daniel was chosen for the role of Harry Potter, another actor had already been approved for this role. Yes, it is hard to believe now, but Harry Potter should have another face, and a completely different actor was supposed to become a global superstar, and Daniel would turn into an ordinary office worker. Some weeks ago, I read an interview of the casting director of the Harry Potter's film in HuffPost magazine. He said that the main role was given to American actor Liam Eichen. He was actually approved for the role, it only remained to sign a couple of papers. But Joanne Rowling changed everything. Liam is an American actor who became famous for the role of Ben Harrison in the movie Stepmother. At the time of the creation of the first movie of Harry Potter, Liam had a lot of shooting experience and a solid list of roles. Chris Columbus and the casting director approved him for the role of Harry Potter, but in the end he did not get this role. Why? Because of Joanne's direct influence. She insisted that all the key roles in Harry Potter, including the role of Harry himself, must be played only by British actors. Liam was an American, and he was kicked out of the Harry Potter's movie. Well, typical British racism. So Liam lost the role just because he was an American. If Joanne Rowling didn't interfere, his life would have changed and he would become a superstar. Thanks to Joanne, the role of Harry Potter went to Redcliffe, only because he is Englishman. Therefore, everyone who used to say that the star trio didn't get help from Joanne should change their minds and apologize to the writer. And now let's remember how Mr. Redcliffe thanked his second mother, Joan. You probably remember how Rowling tweeted a rather unpopular opinion about transgender people, gender change and further identification. After this act, the ultra-liberal and communist public began aggressive attack on the writer. The situation worsened when the cinematic children Radcliffe, Watson and Grint took the stage. Moreover, Daniel was the first who threw a stone at his creator, and then Watson and some other young actors of franchise joined him. I must say right away that I am not a fan of Harry Potter at all, and I have a lot of questions and complaints about Joanne Rowling as a writer. But Damn it! How can man be such an asshole? Redcliffe has been saying for 20 years that Rowling is his second mother, and thanks to this woman he became a superstar, but at the difficult moment he kicked her in the back. In my opinion, it was a very hypocritical act. He and his friends could just keep quiet, but no, I think it is all because of psychological complexes and stupidity. Yes, there are few smart guys among the actors, but sometimes appears completely two-faced idiots. Daniel Radcliffe is one of them. It was Daniel Radcliffe who started a harassment of Joanne Rowling, because if he had kept silent, the scandal would have subsided by itself. But no, he decided to hype, add some gas to the fire and become a hero. Well, what he has definitely become is ungrateful pig, unlike Hagrid. Yes, there was the same problem with the role of Hagrid as with the role of Harry Potter. Initially, it was claimed by the legendary Robin Williams, who was also approved for the role. However, at the last moment, Joanne Rowling demanded an English actor. As a result, this role was given to Robbie Coltrane, who did a wonderful job with it. However, unlike the ungrateful wizard, Robbie was grateful for Rowling until the end of his life, and even in the most difficult time, he defended the writer from the attacks of the rabid public that is still bullying the writer. In early August, the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle removed all references to the author of Harry Potter from its fantasy exhibition. They also removed her image from the Science Fiction and Fantasy Hall of Fame. Transgender activist and project manager of the Seattle Museum of Pop Culture, Chris Moore, said that the museum is erasing all traces of Harry Potter author Joanne Rowling because of her, quote, super hateful views on transgender ideology. In addition, the managers of the exhibition decided to remove all references to Joan from their gallery in order to reduce her influence. By the way, in addition to trans theme, Joan's haters reminded her other sins, including racial theme. Activists claim that she made popular the ideas of anti-Semitism and racial stereotypes that she used when creating characters. Most of all, haters don't like the too white magical world, body shaming, the absence of LGBT representatives, and much more. But earlier, the managers of the museum themselves made an exhibition dedicated to Harry Potter and Joanne Rowling, and at the same time, nothing bothered them when they did these exhibitions, neither racism nor the absence of LGBT characters. So, abomination and hypocrisy have now become our main principles. All in all, Joanne Rowling's books have already become the property of culture, and her works have had a serious cultural impact on the modern generation. Joanne Rowling will remain in history, and Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and other two-faced haters will be forgotten and consigned to oblivion. That's it for today. Press like, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel.